We all are colleagues of his. We all studied under him. We used his reports as a model for us, as he continues to live on in each of us. And now more events in Nagorno-Karabakh. Today there were no shots today, but people spent the day in their bunkers. There's no fuel, no water, electricity. The Armenians have not responded to the demand of the president of Azerbaijan, Mutalibov, that he is going to take over the command of the country, of the area. Local observers say that the decree of Mr. Mutalibov will be simply ignored. TASS says that the gas blockade of Armenia has been ceased. Armenia has now begun to receive gas, which was cut off as of the 4th of November of last year. But Armenia lost, as a result of that, some 900 million cubic meters of gas. So we have new prices. Belarus is called now, has announced the freeing up of prices. The other republics will have to undertake this same step. First of all, those republics which border with Russia. The residents of Belarus went to the stores with their coupons for the first time today, not only with money. The prices for consumer goods rose by 3, 4, 5 times. Rates for services also were raised, but not everything went up. According to the statement or the declaration of the government, bread prices, dairy prices, baby food, meat and meat products were accepted, with the exception of tins and smoked goods, which are delicatessen foods. There's no changes in rent, including the rent in dormitories. So there's this sort of innovation at the consumers market. We now see, together with money, coupons. We'll have to see. This is Mr. Kevich, who is the Prime Minister of Belarus. I, for example, know that our coupon will be good for rubles, but the Ukraine coupons are the same. Will go together with separate Ukrainian currency. So Ukraine has not held to its word. Evidently, the circumstances will force us to all have our own separate national money. The coal miners here in the Donbass have had a sharp rise in prices. The miners' lunch pail now costs 46 rubles. The administration of the mines is now, on an emergency basis, looking for subsidies for miners' dinners, but the subsidies can't be too large, since many mines are hardly making ends meet. The socialist economy always intended that the mines work at a loss, and today the branch now needs such subsidies that this would be 1/3 of the Ukrainian budget. The year has begun, but the government and the parliament have yet to take a decision. There is no unified price for coal. The production units are trying to determine the prices themselves, but we're getting something like 1,200 rubles per ton in one area, but that's only the initial prices, and it will grow from there. And now the miners are now being offered support timber and other materials 5 times more expensive than they cost in November. The miner collectives find themselves in a tense situation. This was warned about by the strike committees, which demand that the government quickly develop a concept for the rapid development of this industry under a market condition. And what do you think? Could we have unlimited prices? If we talk about milk as a raw good, we're being forced to pay 6 or 8 rubles for a liter. So anything that we produce from such raw milk will be very expensive. Until we reach the point where we have filled the stores, and when the producers find that they're running into a price barrier, they are not going to lower their prices. So the task of the first 2 weeks is to a maximum degree to fill up the stores with food. That is not a simple task. For this goal, the government of Moscow, together with the Russian government, has undertaken a number of measures to receive food from state reserves and those remnants which we have in our warehouses and bases, utilizing foreign credits. There are many people today who find themselves below the poverty line. What sort of means does the government of Moscow have to help them? First of all, I have to tell you that a portion of the of the funds which are received from this repricing will be handed over to the city. All the assistance which we receive from the European community will be sold and not simply distributed. All the money which is earned from selling this aid, 100% will be footballed over into the social safety net. The latest poll indicates not everybody is negative on the reforms. According to Professor Grushin, the topic and the question, does 1992 justify your expectations? Yes was the answer of 80% of the youth who were younger than 24 years. Yes said 85% of people who had a higher education. 85% of the cooperative owners also said yes. And 84% of the managers also answered yes. No was the answer of 20% of the pensioners, 20% of the collective farmers, and 21% of the persons who did not have a higher education. That means that the people are perhaps wanting now to earn more and live better. The socialist heritage is depressing, especially in agriculture. And so that we might not be forced to reinvent the bicycle, many countries are turning to the West for experience. We are now utilizing a new system which has been developed by American specialists. For the third day, the change in prices has not changed the situation in the stores, and people are now standing patiently and silently in the stores. They wait and wait. But these children in the Kremlin have come to a New Year's holiday, and they're having it very nice, at least with regard to price. This is popcorn, American popcorn. They liked it. Once upon a time, the older generation remembers that you couldn't surprise us with corn because Khrushchev brought a lot of it from America. But now the large American company Conagra is involved and interested in investing. They have a $20 billion turnover every year. They want to attract Russian farmers into this business. They do not want to deliver food to Russia, but to produce it here and even export it to Europe. This spring, they will sow 10,000 hectares, and they will have a store in Moscow with a store with equipment. There will be a number of treatment complexes, and they will be training our farmers. They'll return us to the path of rationality, and they realize the problems that we're going to have in our market. This is Mr. Watkins, who is a member of the board of directors at Conagra. Yes, we know the problems, but we have to cooperate here. This logo means News One. So this is the news. President Bush has declared that the new Commonwealth of Independent States, which will replace the Soviet Union for a long time. According to Bush, the transition will be lengthy, but at some stage there may be support of private business in the United States. Today in Paris, there was a meeting of representatives of the Commonwealth with businessmen from the West with regard to the foreign debt of the former Soviet Union. That is according to France Press. According to Reuters, the new General Secretary of the UN, Mr. Gali, is preparing to introduce so-called blue helmets into Yugoslavia. Chancellor Vanitsky from Austria says the hammer and sickle has to be eliminated from the Austrian coat of arms, although this originally was a symbol of the unity of agriculture in industrial forces. So there was a truce in Yugoslavia. Before this, in Croatia, there were very vicious battling taking place. President Bush is continuing his trip here in Melbourne. He was met by demonstrators who were protesting against the U.S. policies in this region. Today, Bush arrived in Singapore. It is expected that he will be trying to get the agreement of Singapore to station American troops there. Mr. Gale, the new General Secretary of the UN, has begun his job. He said one of his priorities would be the support of peace and the defense of human rights in all countries. Iraqi authorities have liberated 2 American businessmen today who were arrested in the beginning of December of 92 for illegally getting into Iraq. Here we see in Chad